Donald Trump is a felon. It is not being overturned. Pay very close attention. Pay very close attention. You will not be saying that Donald Trump's. You will listen very closely to what I am saying, and then you may speak.
Okay, this is
ready. One more
this
time.
Is dictatorship.
This is a dictatorship. You MAGA Republicans throw around the word dictatorship so often and frequently. Everything to you is a dictatorship. You guys can't get the box of macaroni at the superstore because they're sold out, and you're like, it's a dictatorship. Calm yourself. Okay, first off, you're not going to spew misinformation on my platform. Period. Listen closely. I just told you Donald Trump is a convicted felon, period.
And I'll tell you exactly more about that.
Shh, quiet. Quiet time for you. Y'all, if you want to drop a 20 in my Cash App or Venmo, my PayPal or Venmo, I will kick this guy right now. Let's talk about this case. Listen, this guy is not worth it this much. Listen, guess, again, you don't come up here and shh, quiet.
Lose the debate.
Do you see how emotional
your viewers know?
Shh. Again, Donald Trump was found guilty on 34 felony counts. Quiet. Can you stop unmuting?
How it was flawed from the very beginning.
You're not. He's literally a conspiracy theorist. He's saying it's fraud from the beginning.
Talk about it.
Shh. Quiet. Are you done? Are you done? Donald Trump was found guilty on 34 felony counts. By a unanimous jury, his own lawyer is appointed. Period. Nothing's getting overturned because Donald Trump has no new evidence or witnesses to suggest it could be overturned. Also, Charles just pitched in $20. Thank you, Charles, for the $20 to kick that crazy guy. I appreciate it. He's gone. He's gone. Again, Donald Trump was found guilty on 34 felony counts. And when these MAGA Republicans come up and say that that case is fraudulent, I have a tough time, listening to that kind of misinformation on my platform. That's not going to work. We're not using my platform to spew misinformation. Period. If you are voting for Donald Trump, join the guest request. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's get up our next guest. They really think that they're going to use my platform to spew nonsense. Okay. No, I ain't the one. It's not me. Might be someone else, but it ain't going to be me. Guest, hi. Are you voting for the criminal? Guess not. Next. Okay, this one's not coming up. Next. Bum, 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 ba, bum. Man, MAGA Republicans really have no... they just don't talk about policy or anything that impacts the life or rights of Americans. They're just like, Donald Trump's not a criminal. Donald Trump's not a felon. Why are they... blatantly lying, right? Why do they blatantly lie like that? I don't get it. Hi, guest. Are you voting for the felon?
Mm-hmm.
Because?
He's white.
What?
I'm not voting for a black person.
All right, here's what we're going to do. Ready, guys? On the count of 3, we're going to do a spell. On the count of 3, everybody say hocus pocus, and we're going to make the racist disappear. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hocus pocus! And just like that, the racist disappeared. Oh gosh, isn't magic beautiful? In the spirit of this season and the Halloween season, it's just wonderful when we get to incorporate magic into our day. So again, folks, if you are voting for Donald Trump, join the guest request. Let's have a chat. I don't know why they do something like do MAGA Republicans think that wins them voters? Do they recognize that they're behind in the polls for exactly what he just did? This is why you are behind in the polls, right? Because that's not helping you win voters or build your coalition. Okay, this is why Kamala will be your president. Hi, guest. Are you voting for the criminal? You got a lot going on. Are you driving right now?
Yes.
Can you not be driving right now?
No, I'm not on park.
Yeah, you just like driving and you're parked. Wonderful. Okay. Am I on your car device?
Yeah.
Can you talk into the phone?
I suppose I can.
Right. Because you got an echo, and no offense, I do like hearing my own voice, but not this much. Okay, so why are you voting for the felon?
I don't care about his personal life.
Well, that's a little weird, right? Because he is a felon, he is a sexual abuser, he's a civil fraudster, and you should probably care about that. You saying you don't isn't a flex. It's not the flex you're making it out to be. It's a bad thing. That's a really bad thing. Okay?
Okay, where's his sexual abuse come in at?
Well, let's see. The unanimous jury that was appointed by his own lawyers made very clear that Donald Trump was liable of sexual abuse. And what does liable mean? What does liable mean? Exactly. So that's where that came from. Anyhow, my question wasn't, will you try to justify Donald Trump's crimes? Because that's weird. Do you think it was political persecution?
Yes.
What's with the delay?
Because they don't want him in office.
Sure. So Hunter Biden's also a convicted felon. Was it political persecution for him too?
No.
Okay, of course you're going to say
It's
that
not
because right, of course you're going to say that
Yeah.
because Hunter Biden is a Democrat. So you're saying, well, Hunter Biden is a Democrat, so it can't be political persecution because I don't like Hunter Biden, but I like Donald Trump. And so I'm going to say it's political persecution because he's running for office. First off, Hunter Biden is more politically relevant than Donald Trump. He's in the first family. The guy's the first son of the U.S. He is the son of the current president of the United States. Donald Trump's a private citizen. Also, Donald Trump announced his candidacy after these cases were filed. So by your logic, Donald Trump is running for president because he got charged. He didn't get charged because he's running for president. And that's your logic. Do you think that Joe Biden, J-O-E Biden, committed a crime?
Yes. On public, on national TV, or actually on international.
Do you think?
You would say. Yes.
Oh, wow. Different reality. It's a little early to be sundowning. I mean, you got hallucinations now, too? Listen, do you think that Donald Trump committed a crime? How do you need to think about that? So you have to consider whether or not Donald Trump committed a crime, and you just don't know. Like, you're like, did he commit a crime? But yet you're like, oh yeah, Joe Biden committed a crime. Hold on, let's make something clear. Let's make something clear right now. So Donald Trump was found guilty by a unanimous jury, his own lawyers appointed, ruling he was found liable of sexual abuse, found guilty on 34 felony counts, found liable of civil fraud, $488 million. That's more money than you, I, and everybody in this live will make collectively for the rest of our lives times 100. Okay. And then let's also recognize that overabundance of evidence and that unanimous jury isn't enough for you to say he committed a crime outright and that you have to think about it. But you're saying Joe Biden committed a crime when every investigation and committee hearing into Joe Biden conducted by your own party returned the fact he was innocent. And when your party filed an impeachment against him, your own Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, a Republican, stopped it because there was no wrongdoing by Joe Biden. But you're saying he's a criminal. Okay, that's hypocrisy too. Do you want to go for 3? But if you get 3 hypocrisies, you strike out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was 2 hypocrisies. That's wild.
What do you... Okay. What do you consider... Do you not consider what Joe Biden said about a quid pro
right
quo
now?
on TV to be
what's with the breaking up?
him admitting his own guilt?
Yeah, Joe Biden never admitted guilt to a quid pro quo. But you know who we have actual evidence on who committed a quid pro quo? Donald Trump. He was impeached for this, right? When he refused to offer funding to Ukraine through aid unless they investigated Joe Biden. He was impeached for that. That was the quid pro quo. So yeah, we know about quid pro quos, but you're confusing the president who committed it.
You know who should be put in jail?
Donald Trump.
People
He's awaiting sentencing.
$8 billion.
The Republicans in Congress passed
People
the
that
funding, the weaponry for Ukraine. So you're saying that Mike Johnson should be in prison? I wouldn't go that far, but oh my gosh. I mean, if you want to say it, hey, I'm always down for a MAGA Republican going to prison. I mean, you want to say it again? This time just change it. You said the people who were responsible for it. No, it's Mike Johnson. So just say it. Mike Johnson should be in prison, you think?
I can't have a conversation with you. For one, you're putting words in my mouth, and 2,
well, you're the one who just said
won't
it.
even let me speak.
You're the one who said it. You just said it. Go ahead. I'll shut my mouth. You tell me. You want to put Mike Johnson in prison for passing that money? I mean, your turn.
The Biden administration offered people who are victims of Hurricane Helene. $750.
Oh, I'm sorry. You thought we were gonna pivot. Oh gosh, no, not me, not here, not now. We can talk about that hurricane funding after you denounce Mike Johnson. You said that whoever passed the Ukrainian funding for weaponry should be put in prison. Will you now admit that you just said Mike Johnson, the Republican Speaker of the House, should be put in prison? Do you want to admit that? Or
no, I didn't. No. I never said that.
Oh, you did. You said whoever passed the Ukrainian funding bill should be put in prison. That was Mike Johnson. That would be Mike Johnson. But you don't want to admit that because he's a Republican, and again, you want to be a hypocrite. So. Go on. Let's talk about
because they're Republican.
No, you do. Let's talk about the hurricane funding, though. Go ahead. What did Kamala and Joe give?
$750 one time.
Is that it? Was that it?
Yeah.
That was everything? That was it. They dropped $750 and said peace. That's it.
They are offering a $750 relief package.
Yeah. What else? Was that it? That's all that they were doing?
But in turn, they give a foreign country $8 billion.
You're not listening. Again, so $750, was that all that they gave?
As far as I know, yes.
Yeah, well, that's your own education. That's on you, right? That's on your own education. Let's recognize here the $750 was a first-time down payment to offer them immediate relief. So for individuals who needed new clothes or food on the table, that was for that. That was the bottom of the barrel, and it was scraping. So that was the first step, right? You ignored everything else, though. The millions of dollars, the millions and millions and millions of dollars that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris gave to these impacted states, the meals, the millions and millions and millions of meals they offered, and the fact that they did 100% reimbursement on all local damages, that will rebuild these communities through and through. But you don't, hold on, I'm not done. But you don't want to talk about that part. You don't want to talk about that part. I'm not done. So one more time. You want to see more money to people going to North Carolina, yes or no?
I'm sorry.
You want to see more money? Do you want to see more money go into the pockets of those impacted by the hurricane?
Instead of it going to other countries, yeah.
Okay, great. Let's recognize, first off, you're saying that money that's being allocated to Ukraine, which is through weaponry, should go to these people impacted by the hurricane. They're not signing checks. It's not money. Okay, they're giving Ukrainian.
It's not.
Listen and you'll learn. Listen and you'll learn. Two different budgets. One, they're getting weaponry. You don't want to drop off that weaponry in North Carolina. What are they going to do with that? Right? They need money, not weapons. Two, I want to recognize it comes from a military budget. That budget is for that exact purpose. The money going to Ukraine is the money for Ukraine, period. The money going to the people impacted by the hurricane, that's a separate budget. There's more than one budget. Like, is this a joke? And then also, I want to make it clear as well. You are criticizing Kamala and Joe for not doing enough. They've done too much, right? That's why they can't do much more. It's on Congress to act. But Mike Johnson, again, the Republican Speaker of the House that you refuse to hold accountable, is the guy who's out on special, like he's out on a vacation right now. They have weeks until they return, and he refuses to call a special session to pass a bill that would offer that money to those impacted by the hurricane. He's been denounced by everybody, including the North Carolina governor, for not getting into office and acting. Congress holds the wallet. They hold the purse. They do the money. You're saying Joe Biden and Kamala should do more. They can't. They cannot do more. Congress can. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the phone number for Mike Johnson. Give him a call. Tell him that you want more money going to those impacted by the hurricane, okay? Are you ready? Get a pen and paper. Prove that you actually care about the people impacted by the hurricane and that they're not just a talking point to you. Get a pen and paper.
No, I'm good, thanks.
Oh, no, go ahead. You call Mike Johnson. Do you not care about the people impacted by the hurricane? What a shock. Oh, gosh, I thought you cared. I mean, you seemed like you cared so much, but you don't want to make a simple 5-second phone call to Mike Johnson's office? just to say that you want to offer more money to those impacted by the hurricane? I mean, goodness gracious. I'm shocked that you don't care about them and that it was just a talking point to you. Oh, chat, are you all shocked? I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked. Anyway, do you want to run away now or run away in 10 seconds? Do you want to leave with an F slur or something real quick? Get out of your system?
I'm good. I don't talk like that.
Oh, well, the rest of you do. Right? The rest of you MAGA Republicans do. So you all got the same conspiracy theories, but apparently you just talk better. That's so great for you. So, let's do a spell, everybody. Ready? We're going to say bibbity bobbity boo. I'm deleting you. Ready? Let's do a countdown from 3. Everybody say hocus pocus. 3, 2, 1.
Bless you.
Hocus pocus. Poof. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. Oh, goodness gracious. Wow, magic is real. The magic is here. Oh, gosh. Wow. Now let's go get those Haitian immigrants and stop them from eating all the cats and dogs. Let's use our magic wands. Listen, this is insane. I can't with these MAGA Republicans. Like, what is going on? What is going on? Oh, my gosh. Guest, hi. Why are you voting for a felon?
Because I'm not really concerned about that. I'm more concerned about...
You're not concerned about Donald Trump being a felon, rapist, civil fraudster? Do you have kids?
Yeah, but his personal life...
If somebody was found liable of sexual abuse, would you let them babysit your kids?
Liable doesn't mean guilt, but that's okay.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. What does liable mean?
Liable does not mean guilt.
What does liable mean?
We're in a civil court. That's two different things.
Yeah. So civil court and criminal court have different terminology because they're separate courts. However, when you find a verdict as guilty in a civil court, you use the word liable. It's just a different terminology. Now, my question to you is, what does liable mean, if not
burden,
guilty?
The burden of proof, like trying to find burden of proof, is a lot less.
Look this up. It's easy to do a fact check on this because there's something called a dictionary. I know you never heard of one of those. It's crazy, yeah. So anyway, this is why we got to invest in education. So the term liable literally means responsible by law. And do you know what guilty means? Responsible by law. Anyway, so if somebody was found liable of sexual abuse, would you let them babysit your kids?
It depends on who it is. Like if it's a
it depends on who it is.
If it's a whacked out claim by a wacko, then like this lady that
what? Oh gosh, why are you people having kids? Oh my gosh, that's awful. That is awful. What? Oh my God. You know what? Kind of adds up because you're voting for Trump. That is awful. You just said it depends on... Hold on. I said, if somebody was found liable of sexual abuse, would you let them babysit your kids? And you go, well, it depends on who it is. Not for me, it don't. Not for me. Oh my gosh. Chat. Shh. Quiet, ma'am. Chat. If somebody was found liable of sexual abuse, would you let them babysit your kids? One more time. To everybody in the chat. If you have kids and somebody was found liable of sexual abuse, would you let them babysit your kids? Oh, ma'am, this is in jeopardy. The correct answer to that question was no. There's Trumpers saying no in the chat. Ma'am, how... What is happening? What is happening with you?
You're asking, you're trying to compare something in Donald to Trump, and that's different. Like
he was found liable of sexual abuse. If somebody was found liable of sexual abuse, would you let them babysit your kids? You said maybe. That wasn't an answer. That was gross.
Liable is not the same. It's not the same thing because it's
ma'am. What is the definition of liable? We just did this. Did you forget? We just did this. It's a little early to be sundowning, don't you think? How'd you forget this? Nadine, thank you so much. I just received the Venmo. Thank you, Nadine.
In a civil court, it's less the burden of proof. Trying to find guilt is a lot less.
No, ma'am. No. One is financial based. One is jail based, right? So in one, he gets punished via finances, fines, and whatnot. And the other one, he gets punished with prison, which is why he's out awaiting sentencing, by the way. He's on bail waiting 30. I know. I'm telling you though, because he's been in criminal and civil. That's why in the civil court he had to pay Eugene Carroll like $80 million. And in the other civil court case, and I should know because I'm the guy who programmed the website that tracks his debt down to the cent, featured in HuffPost. If you're interested in looking it up, maybe you'll learn something. $488 million, give or take a couple $100 million. And then in the criminal court, he's out on bail waiting likely a probation sentence. But you don't seem to understand that. So tell me again, why are you voting for the criminal? Instead of coming up here and trying to justify his crimes, why are you voting for the criminal?
It's a ridiculous claim. Because I like that he is a stronger leader. Kamala has flip-flopped on way too many issues.
Like?
The Second Amendment, freedom of speech,
You want to talk about the Second Amendment? Do you know I'm a Second Amendment Democrat? Did you know I'm a Second Amendment Democrat? You want to talk about the Second Amendment with me? Really, you want to do this? Okay, so how did Kamala Harris impede on the Second Amendment? What'd she do? How'd she violate the Second Amendment?
She wants to install a buyback.
I'm asking you, what did she do that violated the Second Amendment?
She wants to install a buyback.
Thank you. Again, what did she do that violated the Second Amendment? I'm saying did means past. So she's been in office for 4 years, right? With President Biden. What action did she take to violate the Second Amendment?
She hasn't yet, but she's on her issues. She's flip-flopped.
Okay. She hasn't violated the Second Amendment, but you're just trying to trick people and hold on. Shh. You're trying to trick people and fear-monger them into thinking she's going to violate the Second Amendment. Do you know who did actually violate the Second Amendment when he was president? Donald Trump. Yeah, the Supreme Court ruled that. So, ready for this? Donald Trump implemented. Listen. So Donald Trump implemented a bump stock ban, and whether you agree or disagree with that bump stock ban was overturned in June of this year by his own Supreme Court, the justices he nominated, because he violated the Constitution, hands down, with this executive order. And they've ruled he is the first modern day president to have actually violated the Second Amendment. That's you. That's Donald Trump. So that's why I'm so shocked that you brought up the Second Amendment, because you guys don't have a good track record when it comes to the Second Amendment. Again, this was in June of this year.
Bump starts are modification.
I know, and yet it's still in violation of the Second Amendment to ban them.
It's a modification.
You're not listening. Oh, you want to justify? You're saying now it's hold on. Listen. You listen. You want to justify why it was okay that Donald Trump violated the Second Amendment. Now this is getting hypocritical. Do you want to violate the Second Amendment or not? Do you not, or do you? Answer that. Yes or no. You want to violate it, or you do not want to violate it? Answer the question. No. Donald Trump violated the Second Amendment. The Supreme Court. He did. Thank you. He did. Go look at the Supreme Court, whose sole purpose is to interpret the Constitution. They said Donald Trump violated, infringed, impeded on the second.
They said violated. That doesn't say infringed.
Pay very close attention. Pay very close attention, because this is an easy fact check right here, okay? But you're not doing the research. Again, he took an executive order action, which should have gone through the legislature, abusing his power, avoiding a check and balance, to impede, violate, infringe on the Second Amendment. That was overturned in June of this year by his own Supreme Court, and now you're trying to justify it and make up excuses. Really? Because it doesn't sound like you care about the Second Amendment then, right? It sounds hypocritical. It sounded like it was a talking point to you. But no, that couldn't be. That couldn't be. He
didn't talk about doing a buyback. He's never talked about doing a buyback.
Ma'am, he didn't talk about... Listen, ma'am, people can talk about whatever the heck they want. Kamala never violated the Second Amendment. You admitted that. Donald Trump did violate the Second Amendment.
She hasn't had a chance to.
Ma'am, stop with the fear-mongering. Your candidate violated the Second Amendment, not Kamala Harris, okay? Own that.
He's not doing a mandatory buyback.
Hey, own that. Instead of saying, you're telling people that Kamala's going to impede on the Second Amendment, which she's not, right? And you keep saying it's going to be... No, stop it. No, she's been in office for 4 years, never touched your Second Amendment. Donald Trump did.
She's the vice president.
One more time on this. Kamala Harris never violated your Second Amendment. Donald Trump did. The Supreme Court said so. You don't get to say otherwise, period. Second point on this, I want to recognize that you are trying to justify why Donald Trump violated the Second Amendment. Like, you're like, what? You're like, well, Kamala might do it, in my opinion. No. She's been in office for 4 years. She could have if she wanted to. Donald Trump did infringe and violate the Constitution.
He has not been talking about imposing a buyback.
I understand you don't know the difference between civil court and criminal court. You don't understand how liable and guilty are the same. You don't understand how violated and infringed. You're literally referring to the same thing. I get you don't have a dictionary at home, but that's not on me. Like, that's not my fault. I can't be breaking down definitions for you. Like, you lack this basic intelligence to be able to differentiate dictionary words? I mean, ma'am, this is a different level of teaching. Google's free. You can just look it up. Google's free. I don't got to be telling you what words mean up here. This is too much. Like, this is giving Lauren Boebert.
You're reaching. But
no, ma'am. Yeah, I'm really trying not to reach, because you're out here asking me what words mean.
No, I'm not asking you what words mean.
ChatGPT, what the definition is. I don't know what to tell you. Use Urban Dictionary. Use whatever you want. I don't care. But I can't be telling you what words mean. That's like... Really?
I know what you mean.
No. I'm sorry to break that news to you. You don't. So tell me again, what else did Donald Trump accomplish as to why you're voting for him? Give me some more.
I know he capped the insulin.
What? What are you talking about? Who capped insulin? Who capped insulin?
He started lowering.
No. Oh, she's a straight up conspiracy theorist. Oh, she's straight. Ooh. Wow. Y'all know that Joe Biden capped insulin and you think it's good. And so instead you're just going to take credit for it. This is like you with the no tax on tips. Hold on. In fact, let me teach you something. No. Joe Biden capped insulin costs at $35. Donald Trump didn't do that. Donald Trump took no action to do that.
He started it.
No, you can't keep doing this. Ready? And this isn't the first time you've done this. This is like how you MAGA Republicans are claiming that Donald Trump wants to do no tax on tips. Who did it first? Bernie Sanders, who you guys call a socialist, but now you support socialism. Weird. Oh, or how about the wall? How Donald Trump kept saying, we're going to build the wall, and you all said, wow, why didn't we do this? When Obama built 400 miles of the wall and George Bush introduced it. Stop taking people's policies and accomplishments and calling them your own. It's weird. It's giving JD Vance. Not normal. Not normal. Okay? So tell me, what did Donald Trump do that you support? Give me one economic policy he passed that benefited the middle class. Let's try that.
I wouldn't say it's an economic policy, but I like the way he handled
I just asked for an economic policy, didn't I?
Overall,
wow, and I like the way you pivot. Thank you. So what's an economic policy that he passed that benefited the middle class? What's going on? Why am I waiting so long for this?
He did a lot for the child trafficking. That was a good thing that he did.
Okay, again, thank you. How does that economically benefit middle-class Americans?
It doesn't, but it keeps children safe.
So my question to you was, what policy... Yeah, thank you for the pivot again, and I appreciate it. What policy did Donald Trump pass that economically benefited middle-class Americans? Try again. Go on. Go on.
I know he did a child tax credit.
Okay, so did Joe Biden. And Kamala's currently running on expanding the child tax credit to $6,000. Donald Trump doesn't want to expand it, and MAGA Republicans just a month ago blocked a bill that would have expanded it. So wouldn't you be voting for Kamala Harris then? Because she's the one who's running on expanding the child tax credit, not Trump.
No.
So yeah, tell me again, what did Donald Trump pass that economically benefited the middle class? And child tax credit, Joe Biden did as well. So that's not
okay. I just told you what he did, which Trump did it. Trump did do it. So did Joe Biden. So then go vote for Joe Biden, right? Or vote for Kamala Harris, who's running on expanding the current child tax credit. Okay.
Again, so what's a policy that Donald Trump passed that maybe I don't know somebody else didn't already do?
He passed one while he was in office. So there you go.
Great. Ma'am, you're really struggling here, aren't you?
No, because I'm just not voting for her. There's
What's a policy? Right, but it has nothing to do with character because you're voting for the felon and you in fact tried to justify his crimes. It has nothing to do with record because you said you care about the Second Amendment, but you're voting for the guy who violated it according to the Supreme Court. That's not even me saying it. That is your Supreme Court saying it. It's obviously not about policy because you don't know any policy.
I like the way
and the policies you're and hold on, and the policy that you are talking about, you're either taking credit for something Joe Biden did, like capping insulin costs, or you're suggesting something that Joe Biden, Barack Obama, that other presidents have done, like expanding the child tax credit, something that Kamala's currently running on and Donald Trump isn't running on. So it seems hypocritical. So why are you actually voting for Donald Trump? Because if it's not about character, if it's not about record, if it's not about policy,
it is about character. It's how he treats other people. Like he handled COVID very well.
No.
He handled COVID very well.
Don't tell me he handled COVID well.
For the most part, he did. He got us our stimulus checks. He helped work to get our stimulus checks passed.
And Joe Biden.
I bet you like those stimulus checks.
Do you hear my cough?
I bet you like those stimulus checks. So
the stimulus checks that Joe Biden gave us, yes. Let's get some W's in the chat, Joe Biden, and let's get some W's in the chat, Nancy Pelosi, for passing the stimulus package in 2020. Thank you for bringing that up. W's Nancy Pelosi in the chat. W's Nancy Pelosi. You Republicans were blocking that. You understand what history was? Because we all saw the vote. Y'all were blocking it. Democrats, shh, listen, ma'am, you're not owning up to what you just said. Democrats passed it. Nancy Pelosi passed it. You Republicans were voting against the stimulus package. Okay? 2, you're saying it was in a bipartisan manner. No, because your party was blocking it. And then, like, Marjorie Taylor Greene took the PPP loans or PPE loans, whatever. Let's recognize here. It's not based off of character, policy, or background. But you're saying Donald Trump handled the pandemic well. Donald Trump didn't handle the pandemic well. Okay? We were losing countless... Listen. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. Donald Trump mishandled the pandemic, which is why there was a tremendous loss of lives, which is why there was a fear to get vaccinated en masse. Do you hear my cough that has been nonstop and I have to keep muting myself for? That's the rest of my life because I have lung damage from the pandemic.
Okay.
Fun fact. Hold on. Listen closely. I have an inhaler. Every morning, I have to open up my medicine cabinet and take numerous, which I can't say the words on here, numerous things to ensure I can breathe through the day. And yeah, I still have the cough. That's permanent. That's forever. That's the rest of my life because my lungs are destroyed thanks to Donald Trump. So don't tell me that Donald Trump handled the pandemic well. Not the case to be making. Now let's be clear. Donald Trump, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. So again, shh. So let's recognize Joe Biden brought us out of the pandemic through his leadership. Donald Trump had a struggling...
We were coming out of the pandemic when he got in office.
Quiet time for you. You're in timeout now. You're in timeout. Okay? When Donald Trump was telling people to inject bleach? No. Now, here's what I want to tell you. You're not voting based off of character. You're not voting based off of policy. You're not voting based off of record. So why are you voting for Donald Trump? If it's not policy, it's not record, and it's not background, gosh, what might it be? Unmute. You may come out of timeout now.
I like it.
What might it be?
I like that he's not.
Let's all think. Actually, look at the chat. Look at the chat. Ready?
He's not politically correct.
Chat. If it's okay, that's not the flex you think it is. So again, look at the chat, folks. If it's not character, background, or record, why might she be voting against the black woman? Let's see. Don't say anything, guys. Look at the chat. Let's see. Oh wow. Oh gosh. Look at that.
Well, then I guess the same could be said for people that are not voting for Trump. It could go both ways. You're only voting for one person because of a certain...
No, because let me break this down to you. You're solely voting against Kamala Harris for one reason and one reason only, and we recognize that. Stop it. Yeah, you don't like her for one reason. Okay.
No, the way she was when
there's a reason to vote against Donald Trump. For the fact of the matter, you look at Donald Trump, ma'am, calm down, stop unmuting yourself. It's not normal. This is not normal behavior. This is childish. Try to act your age. Try to act your age, the rightful age of 85. You need to stop. Stop for a second. I'm trying to explain something to you. You are voting against Kamala Harris solely based off of one reason, and we can make that that distinction here because we went through policy, record, and character, and you're not voting for Donald Trump based off of any of that. Don't claim you are. 2, there's a reason. Calm down. For the final time, you're in timeout now. Okay, again, you're in timeout. There is a reason to vote against Donald Trump. You vote against Donald Trump because Donald Trump is the guy who stripped away the right to choose, which was the law of the land for 50 years, without putting out a plan that supports the mother after she gives birth. He's pro-forced birth, not pro-life. Kamala Harris has the pro-life plan to offer first-time parents a $6,000 child tax credit. The child tax credit that you said you support But not if Kamala wants to pass it. Very weird, very odd, not very demure. There's also a reason to vote against Donald Trump in the sense that this is the guy who exploited the graves of military veterans for a photo op and had a police report filed against him for this exact reason. There's a reason to vote against Donald Trump because this is the guy who tried to strip away the rights of union workers, and you MAGA Republicans are doing so across the country in states like Virginia. Oh, you could work a full-time job, but you can't earn a living wage. That's a reason to vote against Donald Trump. There's a reason to vote against Donald Trump for stripping transgender military Americans out of the military when they're trying to put their life on the line to defend your life. That's a reason to vote against Donald Trump. There's a reason to vote against Donald Trump in the sense that he says, well, black Americans can vote, but maybe that their vote just won't count as much as a white Americans. That's a reason to vote against Donald Trump. There's a reason to vote against Donald Trump when you look at Donald Trump and you see nothing more than a convicted felon, a rapist, a civil fraudster who violated a constitutional right, the Second Amendment, according to the Supreme Court that he appointed. There's a reason to vote against Donald Trump. Okay? When you recognize he has no plan. He has concepts of plan. We've been waiting a decade for his healthcare plan. The man was president. No healthcare plan. Okay? There's a reason to vote against Donald Trump for his blatant hypocrisy, like saying he wants to build the wall, refusing to negotiate a deal to build the wall, and then turning around and shutting down the border deal that Kamala and Joe introduced with Mike Johnson to build the wall. That's hypocrisy at its finest. That is putting politics over country. There are so many reasons to vote against Donald Trump.
How is Kamala going to enact?
Shh, quiet. You're in timeout. I already said that. Timeout time for you. Timeout time for you. Okay? There's a reason. Timeout time. There's a reason to vote against Donald Trump in the sense that he tried to overthrow the government. He incited an insurrection, and this led to the loss of life among law enforcement officers. There's a reason to vote against Donald Trump for the $8.2 million he took from foreign governments, for the $2 billion his kids took from the Saudis. There's a reason to vote against Donald Trump for the numerous crimes. Like, do we recognize this? You want to put a felon into office? That's a spit in the face to law enforcement. The law enforcement that on April 5th, 2023, he said should be defunded.
There's a reason
you're in timeout. There is a reason to vote against Donald Trump in every sense, and yet you don't recognize that. You could vote against him for the fact that his tariffs crumbled the agriculture industry, right? You could vote against him for the fact that his tax cut led to an $8 trillion deficit for the middle class. You could vote against him in the sense that his tariffs also led to middle class consumers picking up a $230 billion tax hike. Yeah, many reasons why you could vote against him. Don't say that there's not a reason to vote against him, and don't say that people are voting against him solely because of his race. That's weird.
The way
you were voting against Kamala based off of...
No, I am not.
Timeout time. You are voting against Kamala Harris based off of one reason, and it has nothing to do with record. It has nothing to do with background. It has nothing to do with policy.
It has to do with the way that her supporters talk to other people. Look how you're talking to people and how you...
She's still talking. She doesn't know she's muted.
Where people like you talk down to people, do you really think that's going to make people
it's not talking down to you.
Yeah,
there's just a difference.
When you're condescending
down. Time out. Ma'am, I'm not talking down to you. I'm just intelligent and you're ignorant. And so you think it's talking down, but no, you just can't keep up.
You're being condescending.
No. Am I talking down or can you not keep up? Can you not keep up or am I talking down? Which is it?
No. When you name...
See, you can't keep up.
Oh, like,
that's what it
they
is.
don't have...
Shh. Time. Somebody drop a 20 and I'll kick her. I feel like there's not much more to get out of her. Should I continue to entertain this or just get her out?
That does not make people want to vote.
Ma'am, quiet.
Well, maybe nicer.
Actually, do you want to know something? Kamala's ahead in the polls because people want to vote for her and not the felon. Right? So you're saying that doesn't make people want to vote for you. Ma'am, hold on. Let me teach you something real quick. You saying that this doesn't work and that we're not winning over Republicans? Ma'am, I flipped 2 Republicans just today. Do you want to hear some of the messages I've received? Shh, hey. Let me tell you some of the messages. Let me tell you some of the messages that I've been receiving. Okay? Oh, and Tony, thank you so much. We'll do a spell in just a moment. We'll do the spell to... okay, ready? Here's one message. Ready? I used to be on the awful side of life as a Trump supporter, but you single-handedly changed my whole perspective.
Well, that's
and
two.
Now I'm Kamala all the way.
A whole two.
That's wonderful. Ma'am, if one person flips 2 a day and you're not flipping any because guess what? Your polls are down and you're losing voters every day. It's not looking good for you. Do you really think Donald Trump is more popular today now that he's a convicted felon, rapist, civil fraudster, and he was an insurrectionist?
I think there is a silent majority.
All right, hold on. I want to be clear. We're going to do something real quick because somebody did just drop a 20, and so we're going to feed us, delete us, yeah. All right, folks. I know I pointed the wand at her. Did she run? What just happened? It worked? I am so powerful, I didn't even have to say the word this time. Whoa. Nobody should have this kind of power. Nobody should have this kind of power. That was insane. All I did was lift the wand and she disappeared. I gotta bury that wand later. That was insane. Oh my goodness gracious. Gosh, folks, I think that was a good place. I think that was a good place to end it for now. I think we'll come back later and do some more conversations, but I think that was funny. I think that individual right there, I think that was pathetic, but it was a good place to slap them down. We slapped them down. I think that's a good place to end. What do y'all think? Good place to end? Should we all go get some dinner? I feel like we should all go get some dinner. Let's all go get some dinner. I think we all deserve some dinner after that. I do want to say a couple things. First off, we flipped 2 Republicans today. And she said that's not a big deal. It is. Because that is 2 more Republicans than what the MAGA Republicans are flipping. Right? Because they're not flipping anybody. They're losing people. And that's the difference between the Democrats and the Republicans right now. We're winning over Republicans. They're not winning over people. And that's statistically proven. Like, that is statistically proven. Like, we all get that? This isn't like a hypothetical, I'm not talking a talking point. Like, no. This is statistically proven. Republicans are not flipping voters. Democrats are. Okay? Now, I also want to be clear here as well. A massive thank you to our moderators for taking the time out of their day to keep this chat clear, clean, engaging as a safe space for so many of us. Massive thank you to our moderators for taking the time. And Tony, thank you so much. I just received your message. I'm going to read it right after this. So Tony, again, thank you. And thank you to our mods. Folks, we're going to come back maybe a little bit later tonight. Or maybe we'll end it, go have some dinner and call it a night. It's Sunday. Like, go have some fun, right? Have some fun. Other than that, hit that follow button in the top left corner if you haven't already. Join our little family. I would love to have you as part of the blue wave we're building, as part of the team we've got here. So feel free, again, hit that follow button in the top left corner and join us. All right? I hope you all have a good night. See you later. And thank you again to everybody.